there, fictional friends, and welcome to another episode of Fully Booked. I'm Megan.
And I'm Shireen.
And we are back at you with another, Bridgerton follow-up, I guess, because we did part one a few weeks ago. So now we're back with the latter half of the season, because it would be really weird not to do part two if we've done part one.
Although you say that, but I feel like, I think in the past when we've done like Bridgerton drops, we either just did one for all of the episodes, or I don't know if we divided it before.
I think last season we did, but I also think last season might have been the first time that they did a divide into two parts. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did it with season two.
No, I think you're right, actually. I think they started this garbage around a year ago.
We'll blame Stranger Things for that.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started on the bullshit behind Stranger Things. Like, just drop the goddamn season.
Just be done with it, everybody. We don't need it in two parts.
You don't need 3 drops.
No, that was dumb. Hopefully that never happens with any show ever again. So
agreed.
Anyway, so yes, we're back to do a little bit of a recap and chat through the latter 4 episodes of the season, how everything kind of moved along, the kind of twists and turns, and then how everything wrapped up for this particular season's Happily Ever After, because we know there's going to be one. It's just a question of like, how do we get here? We'll see. Yeah.
Like, that's one good thing about Bridgerton, is that you always know that there's going to be a Happily Ever After. Although I have to say, with this season, the will they, won't they was getting a little annoying by the end here.
I guess so. I don't think you know what? Weirdly, I will say I didn't mind the kind of main plot line as much. Ironically, this might be the first season in which they've made maybe the least changes to the main plot line story from the book. Like, okay. It follows fairly similarly, I would say. Not everything. There are details that are changed. There are like certain aspects and things that happen, like occur differently and things like that. But the main through line itself of Benedict and Sophie's love story is, I think, the most similar to the book of all 3 of the previous seasons. The other ones have all differed like fairly largely, I would say, from their plot lines. This one weirdly was quite similar, and I don't know why, but it was. So anyway, I guess because of that, maybe because I kind of saw the plot beats coming since I've read the book, I was expecting them. And so it didn't really throw me off that much. If anything, there were just a couple of the other storylines for other things that were the things that made me be like, okay, see, now we've dug a hole for ourselves here, and now we're stuck in this situation.
Like, which one?
Like Penelope's whole thing.
Oh, yeah. I found that kind of ridiculous. I'm like, okay, so you're not going to whistle down us up anymore? Yeah. Now what? Like, the queen's got nothing to live for anymore, poor lady?
Oh, my God. But I found more than anything that whole plot line by the end, and then what they chose to do with having, okay, I'm going to preface with a spoiler alert, so everybody is just like aware. Obviously, we're getting into like the spoilery bits and bobs, but so just know that. Spoilers. With that in mind, the whole, if we're getting right into the meat of it, with the whole thing with the Lady Whistledown of it all, I think part of the problem is that this, to me, was just signaling, we wrote ourselves into a corner. Yeah. Because we did the reveal to the general public of Penelope as Lady Whistledown so early that now we've had no choice but to do this. And it is logical, all of the steps that have followed of people knowing who she is, and so being really like irritated with her, and people expecting certain types of gossip from her, and her feeling like she can't write authentically anymore as Lady Whistledown. All of that makes sense, because when the gossip columnist, when their identity is known, obviously they can't write in an honest way.
Well, no. And like, of course, nobody's going to gossip around them anymore. Like, that was her whole thing, right? The reason why she could hear everybody's gossip and like, all their dirty secrets is because she was essentially invisible. And that was like her whole shtick, right? Yep. But now that she's revealed herself, now that we know who she is, like it was either one of 2 things were going to happen. And I think they showed it really well in the season. One, either people completely shun her and stop talking to her, or they like kind of shufty away whenever they see her there. or two, like the queen was gonna like drag her in every 5 minutes to like give her the newest juicy gossip because she doesn't want to wait for the next Whistledown, because obviously that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then if that happens, well, she's got nothing for her column, you know?
I was just, I mean, I don't even blame her. Like, you could see her getting progressively more frustrated
Yeah.
over like especially like, sort of episodes like 6 and 7 with all of that. I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, I would be so fucking irritated if I were her, between the queen dragging her in for stuff and like even just people as simple as like her mom being like, oh yes, I know you're writing about this. Why haven't you written about this yet? I'd be like, oh my
Oh
God.
yeah,
Oh my
no, it would
God.
take all the joy out of it.
100%. So it makes sense. It's just, I just don't, I guess it's just because I'm like, because the Whistledown thing was so fun
Yeah,
as a storyline and a plot line for Penelope. I'm pretty disappointed in like how this has turned out,
I agree.
because it really is giving like we wrote ourselves into a corner with the reveal. So now we've had kind of no choice but to take it in another direction, where I'm like, you could have dragged it out for like at
At
least
least
another
2
couple of,
more seasons.
yeah, like you could have dragged it out for at least another couple of seasons, like genuinely, to the degree that like in Penn's book, like Colin finds out that she's Lady Whistledown. He could have known. Eloise could have known.
Right.
Like a few characters in her life could have become aware of it, I think,
Yeah.
without the full thing. And then at least we would have been able to keep up the cat mouse for Charlotte. Like, I feel bad that
Yeah.
it kind of, this whole thing has happened. And I know they're going to try to shift this, and now we're going to have another secret Whistledown for, I would assume, maybe this season. If they're smart, they'll do it for fucking longer, but we'll see how that goes. I have no idea how they're going to do this.
But like the problem is, right? Like it kind of goes into what you're saying. It was they painted themselves into a corner somewhat with this, and now it's just lazy writing,
I
right?
agree. Yeah.
Because like they could have gone in the direction of trying to drag it out for another 2 seasons, which would have required that they get very creative with the plot lines around it,
Very
because
much.
like they'd done, a few seasons of Queen Charlotte trying to track down who Whistledown was. She was trying to catch her. She was like, we saw like a couple of different like storylines of how she was trying to figure out who it was.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have just been so much more fun if Charlotte never found out who it was, and it was just going to drive her nuts.
Honestly, yes, because
And
it was giving her purpose. It was giving
of
her
course,
something that she felt like she had something to do. And considering everything else this season that she was, struggling with like her best friend saying that she'd like to leave for a period of time,
yeah,
and things starting to shift, and as time kind of trucks on, her clinging to everything that's familiar, because she is so obviously worried and aware of like, George's sort of impending death at some point. Like, we know
mhm,
it's coming, guys. We know it's going to get there. It's just a question of when.
yeah,
That, with all of that in mind, like, it would have been something that like that one nugget that would have kept her
going,
sane a little
yeah.
bit. And I know they're just gonna have to do this, obviously, and she'll become interested again in figuring out who the new Whistledown is, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, part of it, I think you're right. I think part of it feels like lazy writing, which has also now led into, I guess, them also doing this to a degree to be like, oh, well, that way, if like Luke and Mikaela get booked for other shit and they can't really be on the season,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yep.
Because those characters never, especially Penelope, she never could have gone anywhere.
No, you're right. Like she would have always had to be very involved in the story. But then again, I mean, so again, now that we're talking about it, that would
Yeah.
have been an interesting storyline. Colin and Penn would move away from the Ton, but she sets up some sort of like
Secret spy
agony
network.
aunt like column where like people are like sending her letters anonymously and giving her all the gossip of the Ton.
Yeah, that could have been fun. They could have found they could have found a way to do it, but they
Yeah.
obviously didn't want to. They just went for the easy out, which was to
Yeah,
out
fair enough.
her as the character, and they did this. I'm not a fan of it. Maybe some people don't mind. That's fine. But I'm just kind of disappointed, I think, with how all of that has turned out. And now we're gonna have to play this little guessing game again
Of
in
who
the
it
new
is.
season. Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, I'm sure it'll be interesting. It'll be fun for, while it's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, now if we turn more towards Benedict and Sophie
Mhm.
of it all this season. So, I will start by saying that this season started off as probably the season that I was enjoying the most, I'll be honest. Like the whole Cinderella of it all, and like the who is she? Will Benedict actually figure out who she is? Like I really enjoyed the first 4 episodes. I felt like it was a little dragged out the last 4.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, pacing wise, I can see why to a degree. Obviously, I guess logically, from Sophie's standpoint, I do understand the level of back and forth that she experiences due to her circumstance, obviously. But I understand what you mean. Like to a degree, you're like, I don't know if this needed to go on for quite as long as it did. Like we maybe could have wrapped it up a little bit earlier, and it wouldn't have been that big of a deal.
Not really, no.
If they'd done it. So yeah, it was fine. It was good. Like, look, I thought that they were like overall, it was good to see the characters, particularly Benedict, like speak to very specific people who would have a very maybe different viewpoint than what he was expecting. Like, I really loved that in one of the first conversations that he has when he is trying to wait sort of impatiently for an answer from Sophie about whether or not she would agree to be his mistress, that he talks to Will Mondrich.
Yes.
I like that because I like that I'm like, oh, good. He's talking to someone who didn't grow up rich and privileged and who is the person who, again, immediately Will clocks it. And he's like, listen, regardless of circumstance and everything, you're coming at her with the be my side chick of it all.
Exactly. No woman wants to feel that way, especially when you don't already have a main chick. I don't want to be your side chick when you don't have a main chick.
And he's like, like he's coming at it from a totally different perspective. He did not grow up wealthy. He did not grow up with a title in any capacity. And so he sees that flip side of the coin, which I would say, I think anyway, is maybe one of the biggest strengths of this season was the getting to interact more with the people who are in service.
Yes, I agree. It kind of expanded the character base of this season and of the whole show as a result.
Agreed. Yeah. So I did appreciate that a lot. I thought like those aspects of things were cool. I thought that the conversations that a lot of the characters had with each other were insightful and good and didn't feel like they were a waste of time necessarily, which I thought was nice. In terms of like, that's it, like the through line of their relationship. Yes, obviously they're very sweet. They always are. None of that was going to be too surprising. I was like, oh, this is nice. They were sweet. They had good chemistry. So all of that I found overall, like the wrap up of it and everything was good. And again, I guess maybe I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like to a degree, nothing surprised me because it's like very similar to what happens in the book. The will is found. It's determined that in fact, Sophie was meant to be taken care of financially and everything. And that, her father did actually care about her and wanted to set her up with something. Like he's not, I think from what I recall, in the book, he's not very nice.
Oh, really?
No, not really. No, Lord Penwood in the show seemed like a nice person who actually loves his daughter. I'm not too sure that was the case in the book. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've read it. I don't remember him being very kind, particularly. So I feel like in the book, it was more from a sense of duty because he knows biologically she is his child.
Fair.
And he is responsible for her. And so, yes, like the stipend that's in the will for every year that Araminta keeps her under her roof, she receives a larger sum of money and everything like that. All of that is correct. All of that is true. That is exactly what happens in the book. And I think in the book it's until she's like 20 or 21 or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, see, I wondered that when she read the will in the show. I'm like, oh, I bet that it's until a certain age, and then that's when Araminta turfed her out.
Yes, I think the timing worked out well. She wanted to get rid of her. And all of the circumstances that occurred led her to be like, well, it's not even worth you being around anymore. So get out of here. So Kid Rocks, basically, which is exactly, So that's exactly what happens. So all of that. So I think in that sense, it's not that like the season or like that through line or that storyline was disappointing. I think it's just for me, like it didn't surprise me very much because I have read it. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is actually incredibly similar. So I kind of knew exactly what was going to happen at any given time.
I think for me, I was just waiting for like the ultimate, thing in the will where it would kind of pop up that, she is full nobility or something, and like I was kind of half expecting that, you know.
I'm genuinely trying to remember. I actually, honestly, I need to look it up because I do not recall in the book if that actually is the case. There's something that's found, and as far as I remember, it's something that does like almost completely legitimize her. So I
But
don't
like even
remember
in
if
the
in the book,
show,
I don't
yeah,
remember if in the book that's the thing, and her mom actually wasn't a maid, and there was something else to it. I can't remember. I've got to look into
see,
it.
that wouldn't surprise me because like even in the show, I feel like they kind of glossed over the details a little bit at the end there because like
Yeah.
they do get married and like she is recognized as like doesn't she call herself Sophie Gunn at the end and
Yes,
like
yeah, because so the late Lord Penwood, his last name was actually Gunn,
yeah, no.
her father, and so they claim that she is like his niece, if I'm not mistaken, is what the claim is that she's a niece or a cousin or something like that of the late Lord Penwood, and so she has the same last name as him because she's part of the same family.
Yeah, but like they're essentially lying.
Oh, they are. I mean, they are and they're not. They are related, just not in the
Right.
way that they're claiming, obviously. And
No, I know. But
so
like
yeah, they
in
scoot around parts of it because they just don't talk about who her mother is or anything.
right. So that's why I think I was a little disappointed with the ending because I was like, I feel like unless there's something in the will, to your point, that like fully legitimizes her, like it just wouldn't be done that they would like just kind of lie about it in society, especially when it's a difference between her being like a bastard child and a maid versus like her being fully eligible to like marry a Bridgerton.
I get you. I feel like maybe that is different in the book and I cannot remember, but also it is just a little bit weird. Like you're kind of like, okay, I guess, but if somebody even scratches at that surface, they're going to find the truth like
Right.
immediately.
Right. Like
So
any of the help could then just kind of bust out and be like, yeah, and I'm Mrs. Bridgerton's ghost.
yeah,
Like
whatever. Yeah, that's it. Or like, like her second cousin once removed or some
exactly.
shit.
Like you can't just lie.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that works either. I agree.
Yeah.
It was a bit wishy-washy, but anyway,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, yeah, so
Whatever.
that's kind of like the main sort of like their main through line and everything that happens with them. Let's see. Super fucking disappointed that we didn't get more Kate. Well,
Oh yeah, I know. And like but they do this, don't they? Like I was thinking about this as I was watching it. Every time like we're finished with the previous season, we don't really get very much FaceTime with the last season
I
people.
know, but what I don't like about this particular one, I think like the thing that bothers me about it is that this is the Viscount and Viscountess. Like
Yeah, you're right.
I really wanted to see more of them actually stepping into those roles
Yeah,
a little bit more and being able
true.
to assert themselves because we've already even like in the previous season, right? What we got of Kate was this like this lovely, insightful sorts of conversations that she has with Colin
Yeah.
about like Penelope and everything that's going on with that, and like how even keeled she is and self assured and everything. And I'm like, oh, I want more of that. Like, I would like
Yeah.
to see more of that and more of that character. Just as a rule. And I know it sucks because I know Simone Ashley has mentioned multiple times that she'd really like to develop the character more,
Mhm.
and they're not letting her do it. And I find that annoying.
And I find like I was half expecting to see more of them given that in these 4 episodes, given that Violet was kind of going more towards her Lord Anderson man, and like
Yes.
if she ended up marrying him, then that would be the perfect kind of step back for Violet, and then a step in for Kate to kind of take over as the matriarch of the family.
Yeah, but they're still
But
like they're
then
like not letting it happen. Like they're not letting it
no.
go there, which is again, it's just like disappointing. And I'm like, really, guys, like you can't It sucks. I think, you know what? I think I'm disappointed. And this is just like a personal feeling. I think I'm disappointed because in the regular seasons of the show so far, I think Anthony and Kate's is my favorite. I really like the enemies to lovers arc that
Yeah.
they go through. I found both of them were extremely well suited to their characters and they played
Yeah.
off of each other beautifully. And
Yeah.
so I really, really, really enjoyed their season. And so I really kind of just want to see more of the dynamic of them with each other, but also them with everybody else in the family, like actually being part of that family. And
Yeah.
then, you know, on top of it, I'm like, you know, you keep bringing Simone Ashley back and the costume department fucking loves her now.
Yes, they
Like
do.
in her season, like she looked pretty in her season, but she was obviously trying to conform to like this style
Yeah.
of that particular area in England.
Yeah.
Now that they've let her lean into like her colors, her heritage, and everything with it, the stuff that she looks stunning. Every
Mhm.
time she comes back, I'm like, oh my God, she looks beautiful.
Oh yeah, she's gorgeous, but I agree with you. I wish that they would let her like kind of take a little bit more space.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the books do though.
They do. I mean, look, it's harder in books because the focus is in the narrative is so heavily on
Oh yeah,
each
you're right.
couple.
True.
However, I will say that, you know, they do spend a lot of time talking
Mm,
to siblings in different circumstances, interacting with people, you know, but all people are featured at different levels. Like I would say in the book series overall, Violet isn't quite as heavily featured as she is in the
mm.
show, right? And I wouldn't want any less of her. I love her. I
Oh
think
no, she's wonderful.
she's such a great, like, fun, insightful mom. Like, I love her.
Mm,
I like her arc. I like the things that she goes through. I do think it's disappointing that they did the whole buildup with Marcus to have her say
I
no at the end. I
know.
understand her reasoning, but I wish she would have just like they would have not gotten to that point in the
I
first place.
agree.
Then I was
I
like,
agree
that was
because
kind of dumb.
well, she didn't need to hide it from her kids as long as she did. So
No.
I understand why he took a step back and said,
Oh,
"Look,
definitely.
I
Yeah.
just don't think that you're ready for it." And
The
like
the
she could have made her excuses until the cows came home about Francesca and everything, but
yeah.
like ultimately her kids would have been happy for her.
I agree. And I think that they would have been okay with it. The only time that Benedict lashes out is when he himself is dealing with an
Yeah.
emotional issue,
Yeah.
basically regarding his own circumstance. And his mom is just genuinely trying to warn him, like, hey, this is a bad fucking idea,
Yeah.
what you're
Pretty much.
doing. So
Mhm.
anyway, yeah. So that part I wasn't like too big of a fan of, but I like her, just her general arc. Like in general, I love her with the kids. Like she's so great with them.
Yeah.
And so like insightful, and she has her own moments and levels of uncertainty even as a woman with 8 children who is of a particular age and like has been through all of this. She still like struggles with
Yeah.
her own stuff, and I really love that because it's so realistic.
Mm.
And I love those aspects of the character. So yeah, so just like those little bits that I'm like, okay, that's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
What else was there? What I will say though, in terms of the wrap up and everything, all the stuff with Charlotte and Lady Danbury was fabulous, and I loved it, and I love their friendship, and I think they're so cute. And all of their like funny little like sort of almost inside jokes that they have all these like
Oh yeah,
decades
like
later. I
they're
loved
always
it.
having another conversation than the conversation they're actually having, and it amuses me to no end. And
Yeah.
I want to say here and now on recording, if you ever ask to go back to your homeland, the answer is no. You are not leaving.
You're just gonna do the same thing. You're gonna be like, oh no.
Oh no.
No, you fucking can't. What do you
Nope.
mean?
Nope. No number of ladies maids you're gonna find me to replace you will suffice. So
Yeah.
um,
Luckily though, I do believe that we've gotten confirmation that Lady Danbury will be in season 5, so we're not going to
oh,
lose
she is
her.
okay.
Because I was
Yeah, I
I
think
was
she's
a
just
little
gonna
worried. I was
pop
like,
in. Yeah.
no, she might. Maybe she won't be in all of the episodes. I don't know, like what they're going to do. She'll probably pop back like part of the way through the season or something. Like they'll
Yeah.
probably do something like that. Because I was like, oh fuck. I was like, does that mean she's leaving? I don't want her to leave. I like the character too much.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
But luckily, no. So that doesn't seem to be the case. So that's good, at
Yeah.
least. So that's
And then
something. And
there
then
was
obviously we had everything with Francesca, obviously because of John passing away. Yes, I knew this was coming. Obviously, this is exactly what happens in the book. Unfortunately, he suffers a cerebral aneurysm.
Poor guy.
Yeah, it's just, it's just, that's it. It was like a blood vessel that bursts basically. And so he had like you can see it in previous episodes. They're very subtle, but he's tired.
Yeah.
And stuff. And he has like a bit of a headache. And that's kind of like what it is. And it's over a couple of episodes that it kind of builds up.
Well, she says he's been unwell since you came here or something to Mikaela.
Yes. Yeah. Cause she's like, hey, he's really tired. And I feel like you're making him tired. So like, don't do that shit. Yeah. So obviously all of that, which is also very sad and very hard.
It is very sad. I really felt for Francesca this season.
Yeah, the actress, I think her name's Hannah Dodd, who plays Francesca. I thought she was really wonderful. Yeah.
And I really felt for her. Like, she was so young, and what was really great about this season is that through both Francesca's storyline, and also through seeing, the storyline, like kind of seeing more from the point of view of the help, you see the ugly side of society, and how, regardless of what side you're on, especially if you're a woman, it's 10 times harder to navigate. And I just really felt for Francesca, because basically her entire existence, her entire upbringing, and you see it in Hyacinth, which is why Eloise gets so irritated with her all the time.
Yeah.
That like, you are born and bred and raised to have a family and take care of your husband. But like, it's not even taking care of your husband in the sense of like cooking food or cleaning the house. No, you're literally just supposed to be very demure and very mindful in the corner as you like cook babies for as long as you can.
Yeah, that's what you're cooking, not food, but it's
that's it. Like you're making babies, and like poor Francesca, like she has no purpose when he dies because she was not able to give him a child. And like, that's her outburst with her mom, right? She says to her, "We are not the same because
you were able to do it 7 times over, and he literally died, and you had another bun in the oven." Like,
exactly.
It's not, it wasn't the same kind of circumstance. And so, so she feels like purposeless, obviously, like she doesn't have one, and we're able to get the beginnings, just the inklings of kind of the relationship between her and Mikaela, and how that's first developing into a friendship, obviously, because largely that is what it's developing into to start off with. And then obviously how those types of feelings will of course start to change over time. And that's, what I'm given to understand is part of the reason that Mikaela leaves. Because she has the thing in Francesca's book when he was wicked is that Michael, in that it's a man in the book, of course, it has like an insane fear of commitment. Like, it's a lot.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
And
I wondered if that's what that was supposed to be.
Yeah. And I think that Mikaela is much the same way. So when Francesca asks her if she maybe would want to stay in London for a bit, she's like, I have to go. She panics and she leaves. I did think it was cool that I could be wrong, and I don't know if anybody's confirmed this, but from what I could tell, from what we see of the relationship between Mikaela and John, I think he may be the only person that she's told that she's queer.
It really could be, because he is so
adamant about like, no, don't bring men around her. It makes her uncomfortable. I don't like that you did that and stuff. And I'm like, he's very protective of that. And I can only imagine why that might be.
I agree, because like, he's so kind of flippant and like standoffish about the whole thing. Every time Francesca brings up suitors for Mikaela, he's like, no, I think she's very committed to, going towards spinsterhood. Like, it's not something, from what I gathered and what you see in the other characters, that they willingly accept about their family members, like especially if it's a woman who is of childbearing age. Like, it's like, no, like you're gonna at least try to get married. You're not just gonna march towards spinsterhood like head down and everybody leaves you alone,
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a big part of things. So just the inclination I was given is that he might be the only person that she's confided in about this. I get the feeling, and that's why he's obviously accepted it, and that's why he feels so protective of not thrusting her into situations like this, because he sees what she's had to deal with previously, and how there's just like no easy way to navigate that at that time period, to just be like, well, I'm gay, so no, thank you.
Especially for a woman.
Yes, exactly. Which is like, that's it. Understandable. So that's interesting. And then obviously also her level of grief is completely logical as well, because if of all people in her life, he is probably the only person who she has felt comfortable enough to confide in about this part of herself, and now he's gone. She is fully isolated again, and she cannot talk to anybody about any kind of feelings that she might have that way. And she has nobody that she feels like she can fully be herself with. So, that's its own other layer.
I found Francesca's I don't know how to describe this, but I suppose her intensity of her grief about losing John, like, part of me was a little surprised by it, because I remember when she got married to him, she said to Violet, like, I don't need a love match, or I don't need it to be like fireworks and like, life ending. So she kind of insinuated that, like, it was fine that her husband was like just somebody who made her feel fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that, from what I recall, is very similar to the way that the character feels in the book. Now, it's different, obviously, because this is more like traditional. These are like traditional heterosexual couples in the book, obviously. So it's a little bit different dynamic wise. But the thing I think that is clear in the book, and then that they're probably leaning towards in the show, is that, yeah, it maybe wasn't like fireworks and butterflies in stomach to an exacting sort of degree between her and John, but there is a level of really close companionship and sort of very quiet contentment, which suits Francesca because of her personality as well. And I think because of that too, feeling like, one, she's lost her purpose, but also because this person who I think she would have been, in spite of everything, I think she would have been quite content to spend the rest of her life with, and would have been happy to feel like she could be comfortable with. And she does say, John was like the first person to see how introverted she was and not feel the need to try to push her out of that in any capacity. And I think that there was a lot of appreciation that way. Unfortunately, it makes me sad that this character's died, because I'm like, this man was obviously very understanding, and he left a lot of space for people to be themselves.
Yes, I agree.
So
Yeah, he
really
was genuinely good in that way. You could tell.
Yeah. So that is really sad. So I think that that's part of the reason that she probably has like a, when she does allow herself to actually break down a little bit, she does have like a more extreme reaction.
Yeah.
Quite possibly as well. So
yeah. No, it was she did a great job this season. It was well acted out. I found that storyline quite interesting. I had forgotten that he died. I know you had mentioned it, but when it happened, I was like, oh, Jesus, okay. Like, so fast,
I could just, for me, it was when he was just like, I just have a bit of a headache. I'm going to go lie down. I was like, oh, motherfucker, we're doing this now. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. So, so I was like, oh God, here it comes. Ooh. So that was, at least, but that, like, overall, like, it was I'm not going to say like a good storyline, because it was sad, obviously, but it was like definitely a strong storyline, I would say, for the show to kind of navigate through that whole aspect of things. So that was like interesting to see. Obviously, the other little thing that we do get is the return of Cressida Cowper, formerly Cowper, now the new Lady Penwood. Down. I was like, it's gonna be somebody funny. Like, when they got there, I was like, it's gonna be funny. And you know what? It's weird. It didn't even occur to me. And then I was like, oh right, yeah.
It took me a minute, man, because they were like, oh, the new Lord Penwood, and I'm like, huh? And then all of a sudden Cressida Cowper's back, and I'm like, huh?
And then it all made total sense to me, that I was like, oh, this is why. Because, like, like, we knew, like, they had gotten word, like, Araminta and the girls had gotten word that, like, now Lord Penwood has been like, no, you can't just stay here for free anymore. Get, like, GTFO.
Get out,
yeah. So, and like kicks him out and stuff like that. And like, and I was like, and he's taking a bride. And I was like, okay, well then his new wife must be nitpicky and must just be like, why don't we live in the big house in the city? Blah, 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 blah. And then it turns out it's Cressida. And I was like, oh, that tracks.
Yeah, that tracks. I wish they had spent a little bit more time kind of explaining what happened there, but I guess it was just the next Lord Penwood, because she
Yeah.
never had a son with the Lord Penwood.
Exactly.
So the next in line, kind of like they did with the Featheringtons, except they managed to like kind of cling on with their cold dead hands.
It's the cousin thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the next man who's in line for
Correct.
succession. Because ironically, too, even if you think about things like for Francesca, they're waiting for the new Lord Sterling. It's so weird because in the fucking book, it's Michael.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was also thinking about that because, you know, when she has to undergo that like horrendous examination, poor girl, and all that, you know, I'm like, okay, so who's going to come in and like boot her out of her house then?
No idea. We don't know because
Yeah.
because I have nothing to cling on to. I'm like, I don't know because it can't be Mikaela. So now I don't know. I'm like, oh.
Maybe it's going to be that there is no like male heir or
I
something.
guess, but man, they've got lines of succession of like 25 fucking people most of the time.
Well,
Like
yeah.
they can find someone.
Well, that was the whole point of like having that discussion with Francesca, is to demonstrate, I think, that like they do take these lord titles very, very seriously in high society, and so they should.
Yeah, someone always has to be holding it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So whoever they can find that logically they can pass it down to, that's what
Yeah.
they're going to do. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that. That'll be very different, obviously. I guess we'll just have to see like how that one shakes out, because also we don't know, right? We don't know going in. We're like, I don't know. Are we getting Francesca next? Are we getting Eloise next? I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw that debate online. Like, which one are we getting? I kind of hope we get Eloise, because
I would like
she's
Eloise.
my favorite.
Yeah.
And I really need more Eloise screen time here.
Agreed. Yeah, I would like Eloise's to be next, because I'm just waiting to see how things can kick off. I'm like, okay, we've already technically met her husband, so
yeah, well, yeah, because we got to go like loop back to that now and go back into that storyline.
Yeah.
I don't like Colin very much.
I never have.
I never have.
So I think I mentioned when we were watching part 1, right, that Arthur and I are doing a rewatch, like of the full show, right?
Yeah.
So we're almost at the end of season 1 right now, and I've realized that even in season 1, where Colin is dealing with everything with Marina and getting engaged and all that stuff, it's just like this level of like kind of arrogant naivete that I'm like, yes, I don't like this fucking character.
Oh, he's so annoying. Like, yes, that's exactly what it is. It's arrogant naivete that he wears as confidence and like forcefulness in everything he does.
And I'm just like, man, book Colin is at least funny.
Oh yeah, no, he's not funny. He's got like, he just irritates me. And like whenever he's in any scene in this season, especially now, because he doesn't even have like many lines anymore either. He's just kind of like hanging back in the corner, and I'm like, ugh, go away.
Yeah, I know. I don't even need you in half the seasons.
No.
And half the scenes that Penn's in. Like, it's cool, man. She can just carry it by herself. I'd be fine with that.
Agree.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird dynamic now, and it's bizarre, but I never liked him very much to start off with, because I always found it funny, like in the earlier books, but then also in his book, Colin's always eating. It's a thing.
Oh, is he?
He's always hungry. It's very funny. Like, regardless of what they're doing, he's always either snacking, or if they're trying to have like a serious conversation, he's like, is there anything to eat? And I'm like, I can relate to this character.
See, that would add like an element to his. He's just kind of boring as well as a character in the show.
He's boring. I think that's what it is a lot of the time. He's boring, right? Where it's like Anthony's not boring. Simon wasn't when Regé-Jean Page was still on the show. Benedict isn't boring. I'm like, hello.
Yeah. Like Colin's like boring and pompous.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of like, just go away.
The worst combination.
It's exactly. I'm like, ugh. And this is who Penn married? Like, ugh.
I know. Like, of all the people, you're like, damn, okay. Man, he really married up. Anyway.
Yeah, he really did. But anyway, yeah, like I wanted to get that in because I was thinking about that this season. I'm like, of all the previous Bridgerton like season, like characters or whatever, this is the one that I wouldn't mind not seeing anymore.
I know. That's the thing that sucks, because he's attached to like one of my favorite female characters on the show. But in terms of like the male characters, I'm like, oh, if I never fucking saw him again, I wouldn't care, you know?
Yeah. But of course, if something happens to Marina and we're doing Eloise's season, then we're gonna get a chunk of Colin at least for part of it.
I get the feeling we might do, and maybe it will give actual meaningful conversations for his
Maybe.
character to a degree. That might not be a bad thing.
You're right.
I want to say this is no shade to the actor. Poor kid. I'm sure he's nice.
No shade to the actor. The actor does as best as he can.
100% with what's written for him. Like, there's not much he can do.
Given.
Yeah.
But no, I just it kind of throughout all these seasons, I've been like looking at this character and I'm like, I want to like you because of Penelope. But like this season, I was just like, oh my God, like we're done with you. We don't need your storyline anymore. Just go.
Literally. I know. But yeah, no, other than that, I will say some of the little wrap ups and stuff were fun. Thank God Varley's back with the Featherington.
Oh my God, she's so funny.
I loved her. She's so cute. I love Posey. I want her to stay there forever.
Oh, she's so cute.
She found herself a man, and I was like, yay.
I know, I'm like, yay. See, being nice is important, people.
Oh my God. She was so funny. She was so cute. I want to say it's because we didn't really have any like Philippa Featherington this season. So I was like, they needed somebody else silly. Like they always need a silly, goofy sister. And I was like, well, here's one for you.
Yeah, I really did miss the Featheringtons this season.
I did
last season, they were funny, man.
Oh my God, so good. Anyway, they're so funny.
Yeah.
Particularly Philippa, but her and Prudence, I find they play well off of each other. Those
two
actors. So
Agreed.
So it was kind of too bad. We only got their husbands for like one scene, and I was like, oh, that's it. Shit. Okay.
Yeah, we're the two. Yeah, they were funny last season.
I agree. Yeah, I thought they were great. So, anyway, so I think, but at least I was like, oh, good, we got Posey.
Yeah.
We got Posey, and Posey gets to stick around for everything, which is lovely. Then mean Spider Lady and her shitty daughter can kick rocks. So.
Yeah, they really did that Cho Chang dirty this season.
I know. Katie Lung, I thought Katie Lung did a really good job though. I found she did, like, she carried the level of like animosity that she has, which is how you're like, fuck, obviously there's more in this will than her just saying, no, he left you nothing, because I'm like, this woman basically wants to have her executed if she can. Like, exactly. Obviously she's hiding something that would be an absolutely bonkers thing to try to do, particularly from a young woman who has not challenged you once about the legitimacy of the claims that you're making about that will. It
just goes to show just how much money was attached to her.
Literally. Yeah, I know. Well, that we got that difference in dowry there that we saw, that we were like, oh, okay.
18,000 pounds must have been quite the sum back then.
And I love that but meanwhile, all Posey needed was 18,000 to secure herself a man.
All Posey needed was her lovely smile.
She's so cute.
So cute.
She was so adorable. Loved Posey. Love Alfie. Can Alfie stay?
Oh my God, Alfie and Hazel.
Alfie and Hazel and like John now, and like that dynamic, adorable. Like Footman, John, and Hazel with their little dynamic. I was like, I love this.
I know.
I love them. Mrs. Wilson's a fucking real one.
She's so cute. Everybody be quiet.
She's great. And I want to see her forever for the rest of the run of the show, because she's so funny.
Yes.
And I was happy that between Benedict and Sophie, they didn't shy away. He didn't shy away from telling her that he's bisexual. I was like, oh, good. Okay. Yep. We didn't just suddenly pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah. No, I appreciate, like, again, like, they do such a solid job on this show of inclusivity. Like, they just do such a solid job, and I really have to give them kudos every season. And they do it in such a non-performative way. I love it so much. This is how you have a diverse cast of talented actors without like patting yourself on the back in an obvious way. You know what I mean?
No, it's true.
Like, even if you look at the character of Hazel, it took me like 5 episodes to realize that, like, I think she's missing a hand on her arm. It took me like 5 episodes. I was like, oh,
because they don't point it out, because who cares?
It's not performative. Like, they're not like, hey, look, we hired the person with a disability, pat ourselves on the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they
Go
didn't. No,
us,
they've not done it. So I find overall that's been nice and consistent, and I've appreciated that. And it's so funny. Then everybody's just like, "Oh my god, all the stuff with Francesca and Mikaela." I'm like, "Yeah, they're definitely setting up for it pretty well, guys. Like, I don't think anybody should be shocked that we're gonna have a queer season of this show."
No.
Anyway, so we'll have to see how all of that shakes out. I would like the next season to be Eloise's. I'm sorry.
I need more Eloise.
I need more Claudia. Yeah, I need more Claudia Jessie. So
yeah.
If we could do that for the next season, I think that might be the case right now. The rumors that are circulating right now are that because both Claudia Jessie, because she was doing some press and stuff, and I cannot remember the actor's name who plays Sir Philip. But anyway, the guy who we've seen in previous seasons, obviously, who would be playing her love interest, was also doing something. I don't know if he was working on something or whatever the case may be, but it seems like they've both been like pulled from that casually, which I'm like, oh, does that mean they're starting like run-throughs and stuff? Maybe. And they've needed them on set for stuff? Possibly. So I don't know. We will see. We will see. I don't think we'll get confirmation sooner rather than later. Normally they do it within like a month or two.
Yeah, because they're trying to ride the hype train still and get people excited and continue some marketing and some press. So it would be smart for them to announce it soon. Whose season it is.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, fingers crossed we'll know sooner rather than later. And then we can look forward to that. Because I think Eloise's season is going to draw a pretty big crowd. If I'm honest.
Oh, definitely. Like, I am still a little disappointed that like she didn't end up, because I assumed that the second season was going to be about Eloise, with the way that like in the first season that she's meeting with, I don't know what his name is there, the one who gives her books to read and stuff.
Theo.
I'm still disappointed. Yeah, Theo. I'm still disappointed that she didn't end up with him. I'm like, I would have seen that.
Yeah, but again, see, that would have been a thing, like commoner thing or whatever that
that would have made sense for Eloise.
Yeah, but I don't think they wanted to tackle it right away.
No.
And they had decided, and we have gotten confirmation from the showrunner. She's confirmed. She's like, I know there was a thing previously. They did have like a bit of a dalliance and stuff like that, but she's confirmed that Eloise's love interest is the love interest from her book.
Okay.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's what we're getting with that. So yeah, it was overall it was a pretty decent season. Not my favorite because there were some like back and forths and some things that we've just literally just spent this last like 40 minutes talking about that were maybe a little bit weird or a little bit clunky and stuff. But anyway, it was still enjoyable. It was still fun. It was still Bridgerton, right? So,
and the delving in deeper to the classisms and the all that, like I thought that was interesting this season.
Agreed. I'm hoping we kind of continue to get a bit more of that as time goes on. So we'll see. Anyway, any final thoughts and stuff before we wrap up?
No, I just really enjoy this show. It's like looking at like perfume on your screen.
It's the perfect level of escapism.
It is like it's just nice right now, and I love that they drop it like in the dead of winter all the time
when we're all miserable.
Yes, because it just feels like spring. You know?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Very much. It's true. Yeah. So hey, we'll look forward to future seasons.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, God, next couple of weeks, I mean, we're gonna have like probably a little bit of like a chat or something next week. We're still kind of figuring that part of things out, and then we've got a couple of weeks of big releases that we're going to be talking about. On the 13th, Reminders of Him comes out,
and the 16th.
13th, 16th, whatever the date is, whatever that Friday is. And then the following week, Project Hail Mary comes out. So that's also going to be a really big one that we're going to be getting into as well. So yeah, so March is looking like a pretty stacked month.
Woo!
Yeah, there's gonna be more to talk about. Anyway, as usual, everyone, obviously feel free to follow us on all of our socials. We're at Fully Booked CA everywhere that you look for us. And you can always check out our website at fullybooked.ca. We have reviews and recommendations and all kinds of things at this point. Everybody's reviewing everything. So like I've got stuff, Shireen's got stuff, Arthur's got stuff. Everybody.
Yeah, we're all like furiously like writing. I've got like smoke coming out of my keyboard.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Getting through a whole bunch of stuff for spring releases, which is super exciting. So all of that's going to be over on the website, so you can check that out. But until next week, guys, keep on reading.
Thanks, everyone.